Greetings and salutations, everyone. Solo Guy here. Hello to the Battlegroupers out there. This has been a supplement that has been waited for, well, apparently quite some time. And I just got my copy on it just last night. And I wanted to go and show you guys what does it look like. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with Battlegroup, this is a system where you have a basic rule set and you have a number of books that cover different theaters of the war. Before the Westwall was released, there was Stalingrad. Again, that one was well received. You can check that out in the other video on my channel. Okay, but with this is focusing on the battles at Germany's border in the autumn of 1944. So this is not covering Market Garden, which there is a Market Garden supplement that will cover that, but it is the time period before the Battle of the Bulge, which Wach am Rhein, sorry if I mispronounced it, that will cover that as well. So that's the in-between. So if you're thinking in terms of the Siegfried Line, the Hürtgen Forest, Aachen, the city, again, forgive me if I mispronounce it, this is what's going to cover it. So when you look at it, yeah, it's not like a full-on rule book. This is a supplement. Okay? So if you look at the background, here it says a general overview of the war along Germany's western border in the autumn of 1944. Okay, as the U.S. armies pushed their first troops onto German soil. Oh, that must have given Goebbels a fits. From the U.S. First Army's battles at the Aachen Gap and through the dank Hürtgen Forest to the U.S. Third Army's tank battles in the Lorraine and capture of the fortress city of Metz. Now, can you have British and other Allied troops in here? They're saying you could substitute British troops in here, but they're basically relying on the lists of the U.S. Army, which is the Overlord Beyond the Beaches supplement. That would serve as your foundation. But this book does have some extra things in there. Now there's also a campaign which includes 6 new historical scenarios. So let's go ahead and let's just take a look and see what we've got. We're used to seeing the pictures lavishly illustrated. Okay. And of course, the pictures from various games with 20. This is the 20mm scale, although it could be played in 15. Okay, it can also be played in micro scale if you wanted. But honestly, for the visual, 15 or 20 is fine for what you want. Now, this also gives you a background. You've got your contents here. Okay, so again, what is nice about these books, if you knew absolutely nothing about the campaign, you got a background to go with it. So it talks about, for example, the assault on Germany, the September battles, and you also got the genuine photos too, which they get these photos from different sources, and growing up, learning about World War II, there's still photos I have not seen before, like this one. Maybe some of you guys have, I don't know. But this is the Dragon's Teeth. These basically were anti-tank obstacles. Made it kind of difficult for the tanks to get through. That was the general idea. Okay, and it's talking about Metz, the Fort Drion. Okay, again, Patton was having issues over there. It also gets into the recovery in the West, which interestingly enough, you know, the Germans were able to recover in the West, and they still continued to fight, even while they were being ground into the ground on the Russian front. Okay, you also have the Siegfried Line. This goes into the detail. Okay, the Germans originally defended that as a fortification against France. Of course, with the fall of France in 1940, that did not matter. So those fortifications were neglected because there was no point. But as the Allied army was getting closer and closer to Germany, the Germans took a look at it and said, we need to send laborers out there. Okay, so with that, of course, we've got the famous Sherman in there. Notice the extra tracks there on the front for the extra protection. I don't know how effective it was, so I don't know if any of you guys can shout out, because I certainly don't know everything. But hey, this is a passion, this is a hobby, and I enjoy it. And my background is my parents were kids in France when all of this happened. So yeah, I've got an interesting perspective on it. Okay, and if you're thinking about looking at some of the movies that would cover this time period, A Time for Trumpets would be a great one to look at when you are looking at the Hürtgen Forest. It's pretty gritty. I have to say. So, October battles, and then of course you had the Panzer Brigades, and then it talks about how the Germans had to do some streamlining in terms of unit organization, and while they weren't trained that well, they didn't have a lot of veterans, they did get some of the best equipment. So it was a different way of thinking. So as you go through here, like I said, this is rich with detail, rich with photos, could inspire you. They talk about the November battles as well. Now, typically in their theater books, they would talk about the weapons that were involved here, but I'm not really seeing it. And I think, you know, they cover most of the weapons they cover in the Beyond the Beaches. Although there would be a few, I think, here as well. So again, as we keep going through, chock full of information. I mean, again, this is great for those who are familiar with World War II or those who have absolutely no idea. So it isn't necessarily just an expansion for what I would consider a pretty awesome game system, but this also gives you some more information. And then there's Wach am Rhein, which essentially talks about the Battle of the Bulge as well. And here we got our special rules section for battles against the Westwall. Okay, so you are dealing with fortifications. So again, if you see pictures of these fortifications, that might inspire some terrain makers to come up with their own things. Of course, if you look at Dollar Tree finds or Poundland, if you're across the pond there, you might be able to find something and get inspired to create. So here, this is the alterations to the German Infantry Division 44. Okay, and then again the German Westwall defenses, so it gives you the good stuff there. Again, this is looking at the alterations to the Volksgrenadier as well. And again, you got your lists with your point values, you know, the uniques, the restricteds. Okay, this is what you would come to expect from any of the expansions, which again, it's different. It's different from some of the other World War II games out there. Okay, and then again, here you got a scenario. Here they give you a map, and well, welcome back. I've been having a run of bad luck getting these things, getting this second part done. But anyways, for here, we have the German Panzer Brigade battle group list. Same format as the other books, but, you know, you're going to have your Panzer IVs, your Stugs, Panthers. I can't tell. I haven't really looked closely enough at the list to see if there were Tigers in there. I don't think they were around at the time. I think they were more common and prevalent on the Eastern Front for some crazy reason. And then we get to a mini-campaign for Battlegroup Westwall, Operation Clipper. So this gives you the background for Operation Clipper. So this is going to be definitely some good reading. I'm looking forward to it. And then you got scenarios, okay? And when you have the scenarios like these, they don't always tell you what's the size of the map. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Judging by the dimensions of this, I'm thinking this might be a 6x4, but if somebody is more in the know, please help me out here. This one is a night fight. Ooh. And then we have our list here of German and American forces. Again, the BRs, the battle ratings. Again, that's the collective morale of the force that you have. As you are losing units, you pull out of the BR chits. If it's a number, you subtract that many points from your preset BR. Or it could be some wild event, could be air support, could be beyond the Call of Duty. There's a number of things, which makes the game kind of tense in that regards, because you don't know when that kind of stuff can happen. And could it affect the outcome of the game? Sure it could. You have officers and scouts in there as well. Then you got a Phase 2, the assault on Strongpoint Y. And again, it shows you the map, gives you the forces. Scenario 3, Phase 3, Panzers at Prümern. Okay, so you got a few more buildings here. Scenario 4, Phase 3, up Mahogany Hill. This is going to be interesting. And then again, time relevant pictures, so to speak. Okay, and here, if you look at this map here, it's more urban setting, more of a town, urban-y, if you will. Scenario 6, Phase 4, Storming Sugarath. So again, another map here, and then it gives you the list and some colored photos of 20mm photos. I know that the author and the others there, they are more into the 20mm, but it works for 15, works for microscale. If you want to go that route, you could. I think that the map would be definitely smaller too, take a smaller space. Here's the new equipment that you get, and again, remember, this is an expansion, so you still have to have the Overlord Beyond the Beaches book for your basic lists. And then here, for U.S. armored vehicles, you got the M18 Hellcat, the M36 Jackson, which came on the scene to ultimately replace the M10 Wolverine. Okay, and then of course, for the, I am not familiar with the 90mm. It's a medium gun. I'm thinking this is anti-aircraft, but I'm not sure. For the Germans, you've got the Jagdpanzer IV. That's a hunting tank, a tank destroyer, and then of course you got the Hetzer as well, and they give you an idea what the Hetzer looks like. And then of course at the back you got a nice colored rendition of tanks. So this is it, all in all. This is a quick look at Westwall without delving into all the details. And like I said, just got it last night. I wanted to show you guys. It's been my pleasure. I do buy these. It's not that anybody sends them to me. I enjoy showing this out to you guys. I hope it benefits you guys. Okay? So even if you're not a game player, but you're interested in history, that'll give you a nice insight into it. I definitely recommend it. Well, hope it benefits you. You take care. God bless you. Have a good day.